their pressure, their cardio, their wrestling background, fairly similar. Obviously, I think one would be better than the other, but he's faced somebody a lot exactly like him. So I think it would be a tough fight for Islam for sure.
De esta pelea, la otra que era grande es John Jones y Tom Aspinall, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Es la número uno, pero yo creo que ahorita, si gana Islam, la número una pelea que pueden hacer es Topuria and Islam.
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is though, Jack is special. We're gonna see just how special he is if he beats Islam Jack, #1 pound for. Wow, that's impressive, you know.
I think we'll find out first, second round how much trouble he has getting him down. I think if he gets those takedowns, he's gonna get the win. If Jack can stop those takedowns, which he does have good takedown defense, I think the boxing and the size could wear on Islam and give him some problems. But his striking's, awkward and different.
Islam Makhachev is officially back in grind mode as he kicks off camp for his blockbuster welterweight showdown at Madison Square Garden. After enjoying some vacation time, Makhachev made it clear that break time is over. He posted a photo from his trip on horseback with a simple caption, "Finished the vacation with a horse ride. Let's work." And with that, training camp has begun, giving him about 3 months to get fully prepared for his first fight at welterweight. What makes this even more exciting is that the fight wasn't even officially announced by the UFC yet. It was accidentally revealed by none other than Khabib Nurmagomedov. During a fan Q&A in New York, Khabib let it slip that Islam will headline an event at Madison Square Garden, taking on Jack Della Maddalena for the UFC welterweight title. Though he tried to play it off, saying he doesn't deal with UFC contracts, it was clear that the fight was set, and fans everywhere picked up on it.
But this is his deal with UFC. I don't deal with UFC. This is his problem. But we have deal with them. He's gonna fight in Madison Square Garden, and they say yes.
With that little slip up, the hype exploded. Islam versus JDM at MSG for the welterweight belt. That's a huge move. Islam Makhachev, known for his dominance at lightweight, is now chasing greatness by jumping to 170 pounds. And Jack Della Maddalena, fresh off his big win over Bilal Muhammad, has a new challenge in front of him, stopping one of the most skilled grapplers in the sport.
That is such a compelling match, and it is a pivotal match for the division. The only way you are going to get Islam and Ilya is if Jack wins. Now, that doesn't guarantee you Islam Ilya, and it certainly doesn't help to make that fight more interesting. But it's the only way you would even have a chance of getting Islam to weigh 155 pounds again. Now, I share it from that perspective because it really is pivotal. Pivotal? What's so hard about this new pivotal?
As Islam Makhachev gears up for his highly anticipated move to welterweight, his training camp has kicked off with an intense focus on grappling. Known for his world-class ground game, Islam wasted no time getting back to the mats, running high-level sessions with elite training partners. These early grappling rounds are all about sharpening his takedowns, control, and submissions, key tools he'll need against Jack Della Maddalena's striking-heavy style. With his team pushing the pace and simulating real fight situations, Islam is clearly setting the tone for a camp built on pressure, dominance, and precision on the ground. Even though this fight is getting a lot of buzz, not everyone is on board with the matchup. UFC veteran Stephen Wonderboy Thompson spoke up about it, saying that he understands why fighters in the welterweight division might be upset. Guys like Shavkat Rakhmonov or Ian Gary have been climbing the ranks, and now someone from a lower weight class is getting the first shot at the title. According to Thompson, it's kind of frustrating if you're a top welterweight who's been waiting for your moment. He doesn't think Islam should have been next in line without earning it at 170, UFC, especially with JDM just getting the belt.
First off, I gotta say, if I was Shavkat Rakhmonov or Ian Gary or somebody that is right there who's really worked hard to get there, I'd be pretty pissed. Because, you know, this guy, JDM, just got the title, and then he's giving somebody else a shot at what I've earned the right to have, you know, which is the title shot. Like, give JDM a shot at, you know, give him one or two more guys. If he beats them, then give him somebody outside the division. But I would be kind of pissed. I would be kind of upset that they're giving this guy immediately somebody from 155 division.
But even with that criticism, Thompson admitted the fight itself is very interesting. He believes JDM is a tough opponent for Islam. He mentioned how Della Maddalena is a big guy with solid takedown defense and insane cardio. Plus, he's coming off a huge win against someone very similar in style to Islam. However, Thompson also said that Islam has better striking than Belal Muhammad, which could change how the fight plays out.
Now, I think it's a very tough fight for Islam Makhachev. Bigger guy, somebody who won the title from somebody with a similar style in Belal Muhammad. I do believe Islam Makhachev striking is a lot better than Belal Muhammad's, but their pressure, their cardio, their wrestling background, fairly similar. Obviously, I think one would be better than the other, but he's faced somebody a lot exactly like him. So I think it would be a tough fight for Islam for sure.
Islam's coach, Javier Mendez, has his eyes on an even bigger picture. While the focus is on the JDM fight for now, Mendez believes that if Islam wins the welterweight belt, the biggest fight to make next would be against Ilia Topuria. Mendez went from saying Topuria wasn't ready for Islam just a year ago to now calling it the #1 fight in the UFC. Even bigger than John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. That's a huge shift in opinion, but Topuria has done a lot to earn that praise.
Para mí sería un
Yo creo
peleón.
que con todos los fans van a querer esta pelea número uno. De esta pelea, la otra que era grande es John Jones y Tom Aspinall, ¿verdad? Sí. Es la número uno, pero yo creo que ahorita, si gana Islam, la número una pelea que pueden hacer es Topuria and Islam.
Topuria's rise has been fast and impressive. He became the first fighter to knock out Max Holloway and then moved up to lightweight, finishing Charles Oliveira to claim the title that Islam vacated. His confidence is through the roof, and he's been saying publicly that he could even submit Islam. Instead of being bothered by those bold claims, Mendez actually likes it. He thinks the way Topuria is promoting the fight is great for the sport and builds interest.
Sí, ¿sabes qué? Me gusta lo que anda haciendo, el que siempre lo hago haciendo eso para que la gente va a querer mirar la pelea más. So, lo más que Ili hace, lo más mejor para todos, ¿verdad? Toda la gente, todos los fans que quieren mirar esta pelea. Y me gusta todo lo que hace Ili. Me gusta él es un peleador, pero me gusta que es muy fuerte. Y ¿sabes qué? Cuando es muy fuerte, toda la gente ya conoce a él, que es muy fuerte, no le importa el peso. Ya es una gran pelea para nosotros. Pero la primera cosa que Islam quería es el legacy fight, ¿verdad? Él quería el welterweight title. Ya, si podemos ganar ese título, entonces podemos ir abajo, él se mueve arriba.
But Mendez was also clear. Before any of that can happen, Islam has to win at MSG. Only then can they start thinking about legacy fights like Topuria. Whether Topuria moves up or Islam goes back down, that decision depends on how things go in the cage and what the UFC wants to do next.
Es lo que yo ando diciendo, pero el UFC no quiere eso, no va a pasar.
Oye,
Pero primero tenemos que ganar.
While Islam prepares for his welterweight debut, his teammate Gaji Rabadanov gives fans an inside look at how things are going behind the scenes. Rabadanov, who's currently preparing for his own title fight in the PFL, has been training with Islam and believes he knows how this matchup is going to end. He predicts that Islam will take JDM down and choke him out, maybe in the second or third round. He said, "I think Islam will choke Jack Della Maddalena. Islam will wrestle him and choke him, I think, maybe in the second or third round." Stylistically, for Islam and Belal, this is a different fight. To me, it looked like the mistake for Belal was that he was trying to prove something too much standing up and exchanging. He wanted to prove it too much, and that derailed his fight, I think. Rabadanov mentioned that Islam might be struggling a little to put on size for this new division, but overall he still looks strong. wrong. He hasn't completely changed physically, but his training is focused, and that could be more important than just getting bigger. He said, maybe he's working a little bit more on lifting, power, I don't know what condition he will come in for the fight, but now he is the same guy. He's not big, and after a couple of months, I still don't really know what's going to happen. Jorge Masvidal also shared his opinion on the fight, and his comments added more fuel to the fire. He pointed out that Islam has been cutting a lot of weight to make 155, and that fighting at 170 could actually be better for him. Masvidal believes Makhachev is too big for lightweight anyway, and might perform better when he doesn't have to cut as much.
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is though, Jack is special. We're gonna see just how special he is if he beats Islam Jack, #1 pound for. Wow, that's impressive. You know, I'm leaning towards Islam, brother.
Oh, really?
You know, but I really think it's gonna be a tough fight for him, but a great fight, man.
At the same time, he had a lot of respect for Jack Della Maddalena. Masvidal praised JDM's aggressive style and finishing ability. What impressed him the most was how JDM beat Belal Muhammad, who Masvidal considers to have the best cardio in the division. To Masvidal, JDM proved he's legit, and if he beats Islam, it'll show just how special he really is.
Jack was able to defend takedown attempts by Bilal.
Belal has the best cardio in MMA, but Belal doesn't have Islam's technique. Not same technique. Not same. Very good, very aggressive. Belal never stops. A dog. Attack. But Islam is like smart, man. Boom. You know, Islam's level of wrestling is above. His stand-up game is improving. I don't think he could go stand-up in the beginning with Jack. Jack has way better hands, way better range, faster, stronger. But as the rounds go on later and later, he could do.
Another fighter who gave a solid breakdown of how the fight might go is Dustin Poirier. He explained that the first 2 rounds will be the most important. If Islam can get those early takedowns, he'll likely win. But if JDM can defend those shots, his boxing and size could start to wear Islam down. Poirier also talked about how dangerous Islam's striking is, not because it's super technical, but because it's awkward and hard to read. That makes it even harder to deal with, since opponents are always worrying about the takedown.
I think we'll find out first, second round how much trouble he has getting him down. I think if he gets those takedowns, he's gonna get the win. If Jack can stop those takedowns, which he does have good takedown defense, I think the boxing and the size could wear on Islam and give him some problems. But his striking's, you know, awkward and different.
He added that fighting someone like Islam changes the way you throw punches. You can't plant your feet and throw big combos because you're always thinking about the takedown. That's something Poirier dealt with himself, so he knows the challenge firsthand. He believes that if JDM can manage the pressure and avoid the takedowns early, it could turn into a very different fight.
You have to worry so much about the takedown. You can't plant your feet and throw off those number combinations and really rip and sit on your punches, because he's going to change levels. So it changes the way you fight. For me, it did. I'm speaking from experience. So we'll see how Jack approaches and how Jack executes out there. But if you're worried about takedowns, you know, your shots are different. You're not sitting on everything and standing in front of the guy. You're trying to move and be light on your feet. I think the first 2 rounds will tell us how this fight's going to go.
As things stand, Islam Makhachev is officially in camp, working towards making history by becoming a 2-division UFC champion. His team is confident, his skills are sharp, and the motivation is clear. But standing in front of him is a dangerous and motivated welterweight champion in Jack Della Maddalena, a man with knockout power, strong takedown defense, and nothing to lose. The fight at Madison Square Garden is already building up to be something special, with big names weighing in, strong opinions flying around, and both fighters ready to prove themselves. This one feels like it could be a classic. Islam wants to cement his legacy, JDM wants to shut down the hype, and fans, they're in for a war. If you're pumped for this showdown, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Ring Rivalry for all the latest updates and behind the scenes coverage of Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena.